Brazil, 1950. The England squad were arriving at their first FIFA World Cup. After missing the previous 3 tournaments, the perceived kings of football were coming to prove they were the world's best, and to take home the Jules Rimet trophy. The defending champions from 12 years previously, Italy, handed the World Cup over to the hosts. Surely it would be only a matter of time before it would be in the possession of England's captain, Billy Wright. After beating Chile, England faced the USA. The Americans had given the Spanish a scare when going down 3-1, but England would be significantly stronger, wouldn't they? Harry Keogh was a member of the US team.
We still were feeling pretty good about ourselves because we had really scared the hell out of Spain, And then we had another 2.5 days in between to play England, so we certainly didn't entertain any ideas we were going to beat them, but we figured we could give them a battle for it.
Keogh and the rest of the US team were amateurs. They'd been given odds of 500 to 1 to win the tournament, and to many that seemed generous. England had a team of talents known around the world. The famous wingers Stanley Matthews and Tom Finney were part of the squad. But that day, in Belo Horizonte, Matthews was omitted from the starting lineup. There weren't substitutes in those days, so he wasn't going to be able to take part.
According to everybody who ever wrote about Stanley Matthews, he was probably one of the greatest talents that there ever was. Now, had he played, the chances are they would have won, But the chances are they would have won anyway.
England had no reason to worry. They'd won 23 of 30 matches since the war. That included home and away wins against the powerful Italians. They controlled the early exchanges and had 6 shots on goal in the opening 12 minutes.
As the game went on, of course, they dominated the game completely. If I had to talk percentage-wise, in the whole game, they dominated the game maybe 85–90%, to 15 or 10%, because they were certainly better soccer players than we were.
But as half-time approached, there was a rare American attack. Walter Barr tried a shot from outside the English area.
Right away, Joe Gatesens dives with his head, and he doesn't head the ball in the corner. The ball just hits him like that, and it probably goes, you can't follow that with your eyes that fast, but it probably snipped on his head and then changed a little direction and a little speed, and the goalie was on the ground and the ball was behind him in the goal, and nobody knew where the hell the ball went until they saw it bouncing up and down with the net. That was at the 37th minute of the first half. So, we were just going to hold on. We got to hold on till the half, because the English got a little mad about that and started to push a little bit. So we got to the half and held on. But nobody on our team dreamed at the halftime that we were going to going to win the game at that 1-0.
Surely there was no way they could preserve that lead. They defended in depth, and one player in particular started to play out of his skin. Every keeper has a special match in them. America's goalie that day was Frank Borghi.
He did make a few diving saves here and there, but to me his outstanding feature was when the guy was up in the air coming in the forward and just about ready to head it, Borghi was picking it almost off of his head before he headed it.
As England pressed for the equaliser, a controversial tackle by Charlie Gloves Colombo also proved crucial. Stan Mortensen was through on goal with only Borghi to beat.
The guy was running straight ahead and away from him, and Colombo looked like he was too far behind him, and he just dove headlong and just hit him straight in the back of the knees and grabbed him like that. And, then they both went, they must have went 15 feet, till the momentum carried him. But like Colombo said, and of course that's the way Colombo was, He was getting away from me. I had to stop him some ways.
England could do no more. The match ended 1-0, and the shock result travelled around the world to be met with disbelief. When it was announced on BBC Radio, most listeners thought it was an error. And back in the USA, the New York Times dismissed the Wire report as a hoax.
They were probably more surprised than the English were that we did as well as we did. It was certainly a team effort there that beat England, because if we had a real weak sister in a team, we'd have got beat easy, because England was much better than us. But that was one day that that doesn't happen very often.
The USA lost their final game against Chile and exited the tournament. It would be 40 years until they qualified again. But since that epic day in Belo Horizonte, Keogh has spent his life immersed in football back in his native St. Louis. He coached St. Louis University, winning 5 NCAA championship titles, and he continues to be involved in the game's promotion. The story of the miracle on grass, perhaps the biggest shock result of all time, still serves as a reminder that on a football field, anything is possible.